Hello, welcome back. Welcome to the 12th episode of the Walking Dead universe role-playing game. If you are a return viewer, welcome back. Good to see you. How are you doing? How was last week? If you are new, this is the Walking Dead universe role-playing game by Free League Publishing. It's cool, but gone pretty dark over the last few weeks. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for subscribing. You are much appreciated. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. It really does help us out. If you like anything you see during the time that I'm doing this, please hit the old thumb. If you have any comments, please write them down the bottom and we can discuss. So, Simon got trapped with his comrade Kai by a swarm. He then sacrificed Kai to the swarm to allow him to get away, which is one of the rules within the core rulebook. He found himself at the base to the south where there was an army base. It had been overrun. There was hordes coming in and out, and he managed to scavenge together a few things. He managed to get himself an assault rifle. He has a crowbar. He has some vague tools. He's already got a map, and he's acquired a gas mask and a whole bunch of food. That took a couple of days. He suffered from a shattered mind. He lost the dealing with your fears. He failed that role, which means that he's becoming emotionally numb as he then proceeds back to the Haven through the suburbs of Sydney, through Marsden Park, and then up towards where the Haven was, which is, we said, would be about 4 days travel. Now, we are reaching endgame. Now, because we're reaching endgame, it means that things are going to be slightly different. And what we have said is there's this new faction, Faith Reborn, is moving in to Sydney. Now, we said that the reason they're moving into Sydney is where they were based, where we don't know where it is, somewhere up north. They were being affected by large hordes of walkers and thus have tried to branch out and move in south. Now, where Simon started off was where this space is. Now we will remove that rumour from here, so rumour 1 has gone, and Simon is going to intend on trying to come back up to where the base is up here, which would be a total of, these are 10 kilometre hexes, well, squares, so we've got to travel 10, 20, 30, about 40 kilometres up, which the rules state is about a 4-day journey, because he's moving by foot, trying to avoid problems, trying to not get trapped in suburban dead ends, avoid moving walkers, so he can easily travel those 4 sectors. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to get Simon to move up. We will not necessarily do any rolls to see anything, because we will assume that's what happens, but we will follow the solo procedures. Now, because I said I was going to give him 10 experience points, which I may not have spent, because I've just noticed that he's still down as bruised from the fight, which by the end of this he wouldn't be. Did I give him something for 10 XP? He's got Lone Wolf, he's got Speed Freak, he's got Unbreakable, and he is handy. Oh, it looks like his stealth has gone to 3. Which I don't think he had stealth 3 beforehand, so maybe I did that. Maybe I spent a point and put his stealth to 3. Rather than give him another one, we will just keep it that his stealth is now at 3. So I think I put his stealth to 3, which would be him moving around the base, and that's where he spent that 10 XP on. So let's go to our solo procedure, and we will follow our solo procedure through and work and see what happens. So I've been doing this a while now. I think I've got 150 odd videos. There's over 500 subscribers. Some of you have seen me quite a lot. You know me. I'm going to confess that I was putting off doing this session, because the way Simon is going and the way the story is going, I'm not 100% sure where it's going, or I'm going to like where it's going. So I was a bit unsure about doing this one, and a bit unsure about where the story was going and what to happen. So I hope, since last time, you have been thinking and ideas. I haven't had a chance to see yet, because this is being done before that one's going to air. But we'll just use this session to follow the procedure, move Simon up to the Haven, and then maybe if we do any of the runs or the challenges, we'll make those challenges to do with the NPCs who are at the Haven and not Simon. Simon is just going to travel up, and we'll just so I was thinking we might do it as a flashback, that Simon will recount what he's doing. Every time I talk, an airplane goes over. We're under a flight path. He'll recount what he did as a flashback, and then we'll see stuff, and maybe we'll try and throw in things for Faith Reborn and the desolation that he might have gone through. But let's start at the beginning. Solo session instruction 1. Decide how much time has elapsed since the last session. So I think it's 4 days. So we can go, let's say 5 days. 5 days later. So Simon left the army base 5 days ago. So he has consumed 5 days worth of rations. He's got 3 days worth of food and water left because he found heaps. So he's got 3 days worth left. He's consumed the lot by the time he comes back. So 5 days has passed. Roll for each clock on your challenge sheet and fill in the segment if you roll above the number filled in the segment. Right. Okay, so what do we have? We're also going to have to create some new rumours, which we can equate to. Simon will find these out when he gets back. So we'll put them down on the sheet, and it will just be things that Simon will find out as he gets back from his travels. So the army base with the equipment swarm, that is cleared because Simon has basically gone through there. There's probably other stuff there, but we're clearing it. The chapel stands at 5. Nope, the chapel still stands. The lab team stands at 4. 4, so that still stands. The St. Ives big swarm over St. Ives with all the goodies, the ex-safe zone, stands at 1, so that's still the same. We've got the Norsemen, who stand at 5. Nope, that doesn't progress. And we have Faith Reborn, that stands at 3. So none of the current rumours progress. They all stand static whilst Simon was away. Create a new rumour if there is less than 6 active rumours. We now at the moment stand at 3 active rumours on our challenge sheet. So we will create 1 new rumour. This rumour, because we are in the end game, we are going to say that this rumour is focused on the Faith Reborn. So whatever we get for this, we're going to interpret it as something to do with Faith Reborn, because we are now approaching that end game section. So I don't know if you remember, but what I do is I drop a D6 onto the map. The first number that comes out gives us the primary focus of the rumour, and then we roll again, and the second is a secondary focus, and then we'll do keywords. So I got a 5, and the 5 landed here, in this sector here, which is interesting because it's right by where Simon was, so around Liverpool. We'll say wherever this is around the Liverpool area. And a 5 gives us an important location or site. An important location or site, and then the next one of the rumour or subject, 3, a neutral PC or faction. Well, the one above it, 2, is a dangerous NPC or faction. So maybe there's a rumour that this is where the Norse headquarters is. Now, one of the things we didn't know was where the Norse headquarters were. Maybe this is now where the Norse headquarters are. So we don't know where, but somewhere in that 10-kilometre area is the Norse HQ. Oh, actually, we'll do... Oh, what was your name, fella? Someone came up with this idea. Here we go. Oh, it was Mike. It was Mike Greenman. Mike Greenman suggested... Sorry, Mr. Greenman. I've actually got your name written down to use you for an NPC for this session. So the first time sort of NPC, maybe someone who's come from Marsden Park up, and we find them in the Haven. So someone new in the Haven, Mr. Greenman, Mike, if you don't mind me calling you Mike. What he suggested was for the sticky notes, use the points if we know where the location is, and use the flat ones if we don't know where the location is. Now, I was going to do North HQ with a point, but we don't actually know where the location is. So instead, I shall switch that to one of the flat ones, because that was a very good idea. Thank you very much, Mr. Greenman, sir. So somewhere here, where there is the North HQ, or that's what the rumour is. We have a rumour of the Norse HQ location. And we'll give that one tick of its 6 squares. Okay, so there we go. We won't bother rolling all the other bits because that makes sense to me and I can use that possibly later. Because one thing I have thought over this week, and I don't know if anyone's come up with an idea, but if you have already, we'll give you the credit. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So next, create a new room. Done that. Update your Haven's projects. All right. So one of our Haven projects was to defend itself a bit more. Our Haven stood. Now they have had 6 days or so. 7 days, because we're 5 days travelling up north. They have had an extra 2 days to make our haven a bit more safe. So we could actually say that they have done that without us, without Simon being there. They have progressed. Haven project, defence 2, 2 days, 5 people, equipment and tools. So I think we are going to say, and I'll throw out that picture again of the double garage, the place up in, what was it called? Ebenezer. It was Ebenezer, wasn't it? A place up in Ebenezer that we've made our haven. So the haven is now, so successfully increased our haven to be a defense 2 haven. Okay, so the haven in Ebenezer is still a size, so it's got a depth 2, capacity 1, which means it can hold a maximum of 10 inhabitants. It now has a defence 2, which means there's a wooden fence around it with a lookout on the roof. All right, so that is our defence. That is our haven updated. Now, one of the things that we might do is what I'm going to roll is I'm going to roll a haven issue, because I'm on that table, and it just so happens that because we've been away, well, there's a few things that we know that we should have. The major is still going to be there. Anne should still be there. The survivalist should be there. We've got Joey, who should be there. So there's 4 individuals there to start off with. We've got that little chart that we drew for Anne, Kai and the Major, but we might want to work out what everybody else is now doing. So one of the things that might have happened whilst we were away is there may be an issue, a haven issue. So it says 1 or more issues. So let's roll an issue. Blacks. 64. The ground is riddled with undetonated landmines. Doesn't work. Not in that area. 12. Reliance on bullets and firearms. Okay. So they've got so there's a reliance. All right. Okay. So the haven uses firearms majorly. Oh yeah, that works with the major who had those pistols, bullets and firearms. Now the major knows where the Crimson Brotherhood were. So the major might know a solution, the Brotherhood. So going up to the Brotherhood. So that might be what the challenge is to this. And we're going to roll another issue. 22. Another group sees this as their territory. Yeah, but we know that. That's the Crimson, that's the Faith Reborn. So let's say, so another issue is the Faith Reborn knows where the haven is. All right. Back to our silo procedures. So though we've increased our defence, we've got something bad that they know we're here. Decide on a challenge and activate it. If a faction clock was filled in during step 2, this is likely to be your current challenge. So the only thing that we filled in was knowing where the Norse HQ is. And at this point, I don't know if we'd want to go down there. But we do have the Crimson Brotherhood that we could go, that the major could go back up and decide that after this period of time, during this period of time, that the need for ammunition outweighs the risk of going up and getting and trying to ship it back down again en masse. So basically taking a truck and loading up and then bringing it back down again, because we can assume that with the survivalist dude, so the survivalist, all right, let's see, well, let's do a quick, so let's quickly do some stuff. So we will say that, oh, how to do this. We can either do it 2 ways. We can either have Simon comes up and we will roll the desolation that Simon finds as he rolls up, and that will impact what's happened at the haven. Or we make some decisions about the haven and interpret Simon's story along that way. I think it's more interesting that Simon moves his way up, then we have that impact is what will have happened to the haven in the way. So if some places got destroyed, they may have taken people on board for the haven. So first off, let's do an NPC run for the NPCs going out and getting the stuff from up in the Crimson Brotherhood. So if we can go up, then we will say that we have bullets and firearms for now, but we're still reliant on them. There's nobody else knows how to use a bow or a crossbow, and hand weapons aren't being used majorly because the only person who could really use that was Joey, and the rest are really not hand-to-hand combatants. They don't want to use hand-to-hand. They don't want to get in close. When MPs go on a run and return, there is a chance they will come back with a rumour in addition to something of value. Ask the Luck Oracle if they have a new rumour to share and set the odds back. After consulting on the table 93, see if the NPCs return with any loot. Roll d6 to determine how much they found. Okay, so on page 93, so we will say that the Major, when we didn't come back, decided to take Anne and the survivalist, whose name, we're not going to have you, Mike, because I think we have decided that that the survivalist is female. Let's roll. Where's our encounters? If I roll on the encounter table, but there will be someone. If we roll in the encounter table, again, if anyone else wants to be a named NPC, let me know in the comments below, as it were. Just say it. You can use my name, and I will stick you in a list, because at the moment my list is quite short. It says Mike Greenman. All right, what we've got is a non-player character generator. So we will roll to generate our survivalist NPC, but I want a name. I really should get a modern names generator, but I haven't got one here, and I can't be bothered going and finding one. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, so we will reuse two names from this. First one, 56. Jackie. Jackie on here is an influencer. Thank God it's not that. 31. Jackie Patel. Fair enough. So our survivalist is Jackie or Jack Patel. They are, now we're going to use from page 149, and then I'll go back to the NPC run. I've been all over the place today. So key feature, 51, missing an ear, the nose or the lips. Okay, she's missing an ear, so she's X. She is, if you do know the Mountain Man series, which I have mentioned before by it's not Craig Allison. Craig Allison writes X-Force. It's by Keith C. Blackmore. In the more recent, so the later part of the series, Gus meets an Canadian Special Forces person who I can't remember her name, but she's got a missing nose and I think a missing ear which got bit off by someone she was fighting in hand to hand. So Jackie Patel has a missing ear, and they don't like to say why they lost it. Issues 16. I think we already did issues that they were. I'm not going to have Never Stops Talking. What's 61? Wants to do what's right. Okay, wants to do what's right and was lonely. I think I remember that they were lonely, but we will have that they're lonely and they don't like to admit it, which is better than Simon's issues at the moment. Secret issues. All right, let's see. I'll probably forget it. Secret issue 16. Wants to kill someone. All right, we're just going to say that it's not really a secret issue. No, it is a secret issue. She has an incredibly short temper. They have an incredibly short temper, but they don't like to hide it, and they cover it over being very even keel and being very, very nice and kind, but their fuse is very, very short. Not much of a secret if you get her upset. Get them upset. And then we're going to have a D6, but we're going to do a double high. So only the high 4, which means that they have 1 trained and 1 expert skill. Let's say their trained skill, their expert skill is in firearms. a ranged combat, and their trained skill is in survival. They survival. What's one of the skills for fighting a horde? Let's give them a nice, useful horde fighting skill. Threat, false, close combat. All right, we will get, so false is used everywhere. Close combat is used on threat levels 5 and 6. Ranged combat is used on levels 3 and 4. But false is used for all of them. So we are going to give them trained in false. So they like to use the gym. That is, and that's a skill. And their kit, we are going to say they have the full McCoy, ranged weapon, melee weapon, rations, useful equipment. So they've got kit, and they've got kit back at the base. Now, that is Jackie. So the Major has taken Anne and Jackie up to the Crimson Brotherhood's enclave. That was Crimson Brotherhood was the name by Mr. Grumbly. No, Mr. Crumbly, not Grumbly. I got it wrong again, didn't I? Mr. Crumbly, he came up with that name. So, 93, locating NPCs and swarms. NPC run. If the NPCs in the Haven decide to go for a run without the PCs, the GM rolls on the table below to find out what happens. We've got 1, none are heard from again. 6, everyone returns with what they want. We are going to roll a double high. If we get double 1, that's just sucks, but we shouldn't do. A 5 is our high. 5, all MPs return and they bring whatever they went out for to get. Fine. So during that period of time, the Major has taken Anne and Jack, up to the Crimson Brotherhood base, and they have grabbed everything and come back. And we will say that Jack has said that we should go up to their base and grab their stuff as well and bring that stuff back. And that will then coincide with what would happen as Simon will progress up through the map, and we would use this as our bridge episode between the first, like the closing part of a series where we get a bit of a bridge episode and we find out what happened and stuff that went on. This is it. So what we are talking about is a week after Simon and Kai set off, and the base has been done up and has got the new defences around it. There's increased number of people, we don't know how many yet, in the base. There's at least 4 in the base, and there are people on watch, and there's more supplies, and there's more stuff. And everyone has given up on Kai and Simon. They've gone. Now, Faith Reborn has come into the area. We know Marsden Park fell, so Marsden Park got torn apart. They will assume that Simon and Kai are dead. 7 days afterwards, one of the lookouts calls out, someone's coming, someone's approaching. The Major and Anne go up to have a look, because the Major would definitely step up because of his issues to be the new leader of this haven. And he's quite a bossy, overbearing leader. He would step up because he wouldn't trust the guards to actually spot something properly. Steps up to the front, looks over and says, this really bedraggled, blood-covered, dirt-covered, backpack-covered, like basically on the bears of his feet, like on the last strain of energy, comes walking towards the haven, and he shouts, I've got to try and do an Australian accent. All right there. No, that's more South African. Simon? Is that you, Simon? Bloody hell, mate. What are you doing out there? Coming in. And then Simon comes in, and this will be, they have told Simon that they've gone up and they've gone and got stuff. They will say some bad stuff has been happening around here whilst you've been gone, and Simon will recount the story of what happened, leaving out. Oh, let's make Simon make an empathy roll, because he's numb. Will he hide what happened to Kai, or is he so numb that he doesn't see there's any problems with it? Because he did know there's something wrong. He knows he's numb. He knows there's something wrong, but he may not be able to regulate his emotional responses enough to know not to tell people that he threw Kai to her death. He may not work out that that's something you shouldn't tell them, and that will have a negative effect. So his empathy is 4, but I am going to give him an advantage in the fact that he has lone wolf. So it's like handling his fear. We're basically, now he's back, we're asking him to handle his fear in the story he tells. Now, if he can roll 1 success, he won't let it out in the recount of his stories about what happened. But if he doesn't roll a success, they are going to know that he sacrificed Kai to survive. Now, they may have all done something like that before anyway. It's more than likely. I mean, if anybody who ever becomes one of my managers sees this bit, they're not going. I have always thought that those people who go up the managerial chains, particularly those who get to high-level directors, they spilt some blood to get there. They didn't get there by being nice and lovely. They got there by making sure someone else didn't get there. That you just don't get to those positions. You don't get to survive unless these things happen. I mean, not necessarily. You might just be lucky. But this is Simon trying to keep, or not, that from everyone. Okay, so Simon, in the process of telling the story, will tell the story as it happened, that the car was trapped. They were backed up against the car. They had been fighting for what seemed to him to be ages, and they, in fact, if anything, started to get more of them. They weren't putting bodies down. More bodies were coming because I had misunderstood how you fight swarms, and 2 people can't fight a swarm. Not of that level. And Kai got bit, and Kai turned for help, and just in the briefest of instances, Simon threw Kai at them to give him a chance to run. Now, he might read their faces in shock, and then I will give him a chance, a pure empathy roll without that plus, to spot that they don't like. Basically, a sociopath would know that people around him are not reacting well. He doesn't know why they're not reacting well. He doesn't know what he said that was wrong, but he knows that something is wrong. This is how you manipulate people. This is how they manipulate people. They can identify that their body mannerisms are like they're looking annoyed, but he doesn't know why they're annoyed. So if he can spot they're annoyed, I will then give him a manipulation roll, but I'll give him 1 stress with the potential that he can then bring them back around. Otherwise, they're all going to have an issue with Simon. Okay, he has no idea that they're annoyed. So they haven't. So another Haven issue is Simon is now untrusted. Right, so we have Simon has come back. Simon has told them about Kai. He has been upfront with them. They do not like this. Let's find out what happened to Simon. So first off, Simon would have travelled for the first day back to the area with the swarm. Let's see. Let's do a couple of oracle rolls and see what Simon found there and what had happened to the swarm. We got 651. This is going to be bad. 651 survival. Okay. Well, survival would either be Simon getting through there, or his last survival, which was he does see Kai. 525, 525. Generosity. And let's roll 1 more, because I think in his delusion I might see something. 316, 316. Paranoia. Okay. All right. So we're going to remove the swarm from this area. So the swarm has moved off. I'm going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. So I really need. I think I've got a D10 somewhere. Oh, D8, isn't it? I think I've got a D8 somewhere. I should keep a D8 with this because we need this sometimes for this. Okay, so I've got a D8. So this is where the swarm has moved off to. And then I'll tell you how I'm interpreting this. 1 would be over here. So that is where the prisons is. So the swarm has moved over to where the burnt out prisons were. That they came through that time. So Simon will recount going back to where the car was. The car He slept in the car, and the car is still there, but he couldn't get the car going. Kai had stayed around the car. He saw the zombified corpse of Kai, she was torn apart and bits of her were hanging off, and she inhabited his dreams, the paranoia part, or he didn't really see her, but he thinks he saw her. But he tells them, I saw Kai, I saw her, she was dead, she was dismembered, and she still looked the same. I could still see it was her, and I think she led them away. There were some wandering walkers around nearby. I think she led them away. I think she led them away to tell me it was okay. I think she led them away so as I could sleep. And I slept in the car. The car's there, so the supplies are still there. So we can go back and get the medical supplies because they're important to us. But I think she led them away, which means she'll be in the area. I was going to kill her, but I thought that would bring them to me. So I just let her keep going. And then he will move up to the area. Now this is the area around Marsden Park. This is where the Costco's and everything was. Now, we might remove Costco's because the Faith Reborn may just have stripped the whole place of everything. So let's see what this area gives us. We've got a 335. Sabotage. Okay. Instant thoughts there. 331. 331. Reckoning. All right, so 512. Exploration. What Simon reports seeing is that the place was just on fire. That loads of the depots were on fire. That it looked like there'd been a massacre had occurred there, and this is where we will say that there are an extra. So who do we have? So we have at the moment at the Haven we have Joey and Major Jack, and we will have a D2 survivors from Marsden Park. So one survivor from Marsden Park, Mr. Greenman, and a Mike. Mike recounts that the Faith Reborn came in and cleared everyone out of the area about a week ago, about 5 days ago, and spent ages around there, basically just killing people. Anyone who came towards Marsden Park to collect supplies, they killed. They didn't capture, they didn't question, they didn't do anything. They killed and they crucified. And so what also Simon saw was bodies, crucified bodies that had zombified. So they killed and crucified. So the whole place is littered with tens of bodies crucified, surrounding the whole of the area. And then they cleared out. And so people from Mike's group, Mike's Haven, went in to try and rescue anybody they could find, or find some stuff and just clear some stuff. And that's when the explosions went off. Because not only had they done that, they had sabotaged all of the supplies that were left, and everything went up. There's nothing left in the Marsden Park. That was a central point of supplies for the area that lots of people relied upon in this close area, and all of them have gone. They either took them or they just destroyed them to make sure that nobody else could have them. And this is, even the Norse have been in contact, which is why they know where the Norse HQ might be, to say that they can't. Even the Norse didn't do that. The Norse took stuff, but they left everything else there. The Norse didn't do that, so they had destroyed everything. So supplies are running short in this area, in this localised area of Sydney, around here. We're now running short here. We're going to have to move out somewhere else, or find out where Faith Reborn are and see if they've got stuff, because they've moved in and they are definitely trying to take ownership of the whole area and do that by denying anyone anything. So that area is gone, and so that we now have, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including Simon. There's 6, but there might be more people. Maybe there's a member of the Norse who got lost or injured. Let's find out. So now Simon will tell how he slept up in the rafters. He climbed up into the rafters of one of the burnt out warehouses, and he slept up in the burnt out warehouse. Then the next day he proceeded to move further north and into the area where around that, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was the garage service station. It was the service station stop, which the Norse had turned into a bit of a butcher's ground because the Norse are cannibals. So what does Simon find here? 325. Rebellion. 254. I think it will lead somewhere that I want it to go. Menace. 533. Hope. Okay, so Simon will recount moving into this area, being really careful, being wary of the Norse that were stationed here, and finding in this whole area, wherever he went, signs of skirmishes. It seems that the Norse are rebelling against the Faith No More coming into the area, and the Norse are trying to cause a problem for Faith Reborn and make sure they don't want to come into the area, which caused some hope among the collective group. So we've got that area is littered with basically signs of small skirmishes, and the people in the Haven, because basically we're talking about this area here, which is just south of the Haven. So the people in the Haven will say over the last few days they have been hearing gunfire and it sounds like war from down south, and nobody has gone to investigate. The Major basically refused to allow anyone to investigate. So let's see if we can have an additional member who is an injured Norse member who's come up, but we don't necessarily know that they are Norse. So we'll use the old oracle. Did a survivor of one of the skirmishes seek refuge with the Haven? Because yes is interesting. Oh. Reroll that. That was going to be complicated. Same question, Mr. Oracle. Complicated. So it is complicated. So, hold on. No, let's do that again. Right. Last time, all 6 dice. Let's see if I can get it right this time. Okay. Yes. Good. So first roll, it was complicated, but some of the dice came out of the tray. Second roll, it was complicated, but I didn't have all the dice in the tray. And third roll is a yes. Okay, so we also have somebody. It could be you, Mike. If you say you want to be a member secretly a member of the Norse, otherwise you're a member of the... No, you're not. You're not. You're going to be a member of Marsden Park, a survivor from Marsden Park. Who is going to be a member of the Norse? But we don't know he is. I mean, he's got... Everyone's suspicious because he's a bit tattooed up and he looks aggro, but he's trying to. Let's call him Matt K. Matt K. You wrote the solo play stuff for this. You, my friend, can be a member of the Norse. Matt K, who wrote the solo stuff for this. In your heart, are you a cannibal Norseman? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us. We're reaching capacity for the Haven, but we could at least fight a swarm most likely. Okay, so Matt came up, and so Matt had told the group. That he's just come up from the north. There was all the fights. He got a bit worried. He's moved up to the north. He moved up to try and avoid the combats and try and stop being caught by either the Norse or Faith Reborn. And nobody else in the group, I don't know, we'll roll their stats. I haven't done that yet, but we'll roll those afterwards. We'll spot it, but we will have Simon make a manipulation roll, plain manipulation roll. He rolls 2 hits. Simon is very suspicious of Matt. Mind you, everyone is suspicious of Simon. Something about the story he's telling isn't right. Something about the story he's telling doesn't make sense. Simon isn't too sure what it is, but something doesn't make sense about this bloke, Matt. But we will say that this area here is just like those remains of. Let's put one that says skirmishes. So that's where all the skirmishes were. This might still actually, this one here may still have. I'll write the word sabotage, which then makes me think of the Beastie Boys. Okay, so Simon will come up into the haven. I think Simon will just come straight up into the haven, and we'll go up, and Simon is then up into the haven and has recounted the story of how he got up there and he's run. Oh, we had one last thing. I'm going to roll on this table here for the run that the Major did with Jack and Anne, and this is do they get a rumour? Yes, which was the rumour that we got about where the Norse is, and then we have what do they get off of the scavenge table? 4. Roll twice on the scavenging table. So not only did they get all their supplies back, but they also got, which is a D666, 336 supplies, 226. Basically some more rations, nothing more interesting. So I'll give them one more roll, just see if they can get anything interesting. Nothing interesting comes out of this. 666, what's 666? Instructions on where to find a storehouse filled with canned goods. Could be a trap. All right, I said, no, nothing exciting comes out. That's what comes out. So the one thing that they report back from when they went to the Crimson Brotherhood is there are some instructions on where to find lots of food. So there's a warehouse, maybe there's a depot or a warehouse that the Crimson Brotherhood found that's full of canned goods that are still okay. Okay, I'm going to stick that down as a rumour. Basically, a canned good warehouse. So Marsden Park is gone for supplies. They can't go back down to Marsden Park to go to Costco, but they might be able to find where this place is and go and find this. And now we would then finish off that Simon is back. He is back at the camp. He's back with the people. Their faith reborn has been tearing apart the area. It's not the same place it was. There is a problem with Faith Reborn, and next couple of episodes they are going to have to bump heads with Faith Reborn as we decide what we're going to do to solve this problem and to keep everything safe to move into series 2. I will see how things go, but I'm thinking episode 15 we will end this series and then I can move on to playing something different. But I think I'm a little bit more happy now than I was before I started, that I know what we're going to do next and what sort of things are coming next. Particularly now we know where the Norse HQ is. We also we can return back to where the Rither people are. We have our possibly the car with its advanced medical gear. There's a few things that we need to work out first. I'm removing the Crimson Brotherhood and the Survivalist from the map as well, as of rumours. I hope that went okay for you. Simon and the survivors are going to have to rally themselves to deal with though we didn't see Faith Reborn this time, we definitely know that they are doing stuff, and what we saw is the things they had done in stories that people had told, and we need to ready ourselves possibly to see what happens next. I hope you can join me next week when we find out what Simon will do. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for subscribing, it's much appreciated. If you're not a subscriber, why not subscribe? Then you'll know when the next episode comes out. If you like what you saw, please hit the thumb. If you have any comments or any guidance or any thoughts about how we can deal with this and how we can increase the story, do let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you again next week. Have a good week. See ya.